Welcome to Archangel Revelations and Prophecies 444. I am Gat, your host. A viewer requested a birth natal chart analysis, so that's what we're going to do right now. All right. Now, if you notice, her ascendant is in one house and her EP is in another house. So the first thing you want to know is which is the first house. Now, let's start with Capricorn and count around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that puts her 10th house where you see MC. That means medium coeli. And your 10th house represents your career and your reputation. And then you go 11 and 12. And so she would have her ascendant in her 12th house. So when they ask her what is her rising sign, it would be that AC ascendant, and that'll be Sagittarius. And the ascendant is when the sun went over the horizon at the moment she was born. That's your ascendant. Now your east point is when the sun went over the ecliptic the moment you were born. So at the end of the day, she's still going to have a little bit of Capricornian in her rising sign. Because your first house is supposed to be your personality. And that's usually where your ascendant is, but not always. So she's going to have a little Sagittarius and Capricorn in her personality. So on your natal chart, especially if you just saw the last natal chart I did was over 4 hours long, we learned a lot more on how to find more about your past lives. Because most people go north node, south node, but you can also do first house, 12th house. And usually when you have your ascendant in your 12th house, it's because you have some past life unfinished business as well. So now, moon sign Capricorn, you're usually dealing with an old soul. And these are people that have lived before. And sometimes you can tell an old soul. Like even when they're little kids, you could tell that they're acting more like an adult. Or they have understandings that just seem like they're way above their years. And when it's moon sign in Capricorn, that means its ruler, the person's ruler is Saturn. And that means too that they may be a little bit more serious minded about what they do. Even if they're playing, but they still are more serious minded. Like if they're playing house as a little kid, but they're trying to have rules and stuff. Like other kids might just play house and be goofy with it. But like an old soul will play house, but they're still trying to be standardized stuff and rules. You just know about old soul. And a lot of times they could be better with their money and things like that. It's just they do things that you could tell this person is not acting like a little kid. Now, so we're going to look at the first house with Capricorn, moon sign Capricorn. So her first house is her 10th house because of Capricorn. And Capricorn rules the 10th house. The first house is ruled by Aries. Now, what's unique about her is she has a lot of sun energy and she has a lot of Jupiter energy. And I'll show you how you can see this. First house ruled by Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. So she will be somewhat career-minded, more serious, more business-minded. Some people say Capricorns because, again, that's her moon sign. And the funny thing about it is this. it's her first house, so it's gonna link into the rising sign as well. It's gonna leak into the ascendant, because your ascendant is your rising sign. So that's why your first house is how people see you, and that's usually where your ascendant is. So some people will see her as Capricorn, some people will see her as Sagittarius, some people may get to see both. I was shopping one time a long time ago, and I was buying clothes, and the man, he could see how I kept switching up, because one minute I would be conservative, and that would probably be my moon sign Capricorn, and then the next minute I would be very liberal with what I was buying, and I was kind of like, the guy was kind of like, he's kind of flabbergasted, but that would be probably my sun sign Leo, or my ascendant Gemini. So your moon sign is more internal, emotions, and the moon rules Cancer. But remember, the Cancer opposes Capricorn. So you're already seeing. So you see where her true north node is, right where her Cancer is. What looks like a horseshoe, and your true north node, your north node should always have that aura next to it. But if you see anything else with an aura, then it's considered retrograde, and you got to really find out what's going on with that planet or that asteroid in the house that it's in. So what they're saying is, in this life, they're dealing with family. She's going to be dealing with family, relationships, partnerships, things like that, because that's Cancer, true north node, in the 7th house of relationships. So that's this life. Your true north node is why you're here in this life, because her south node right across, that's Capricorn with that moon sign, she was about that business. She is more business minded, and she put business first. And I got the same thing as far as moon sign and Capricorn, but I have it in a different house. So the first number you're going to look up is at number 3. So just give me a moment. All right. So the number 3, it will be creativity. And remember, number 3 relates also to your 3rd house, which is ruled by Gemini. So it can be creativity, but there's a little bit more to number 3 that we want to make sure we get all of it. So they say this person may have trouble completing their project. So that's what I wanted to say. See, number 3, that's the 3rd house, Gemini. But Gemini ain't about the long haul. But Gemini is real creative and stuff like that. You probably could have kind of a good conversation with a Gemini, but you just can't go too deep, because Gemini ain't trying to hang out and go deep with you. So if you see Gemini in the 10th house of career, then it's probably a part-time jobs, or they're always losing a job, or they're always going from job to job. So her true north node is with that 3. So it's gonna have that 3 energy of creativity, Gemini and stuff like that. Gemini energy and stuff like that. So again, we'll learn more about it, but we're still looking at the number 3 So far we're saying creativity, and we'll learn more as we go around this chart. And they use the word frivolous, so we want to get the definition of frivolous. We may know what it means a little bit, but sometimes we have an idea what the word means, but sometimes it's good to actually look it up, so that way we're not just making up our own definition of what we heard from somebody else or something like that.
Frivolous.
Yeah. Unworthy of serious attention, trivial. So that's what I'm saying. That's that Gemini energy. And see, because remember, I'm a moon sign, Capricorn, and my ascendant is Gemini. But see, with me, I just don't like wasting my time on bullshit. You know, I'm not with it. So it's not that I give up real easy, because I don't. Like, I'll go through everything. But if I could tell, if it seems like it's wasting my time, I'm not gonna waste time. So that's my Gemini. So you may have that, but we'll find out as we do your chart. But that number 3 is right there with your true north node. So that's why I say you have to understand the definition, because immediately if you hear frivolous or something like that, you think the person ain't about nothing. But that's not true. It depends on what the situation is. If you come real, then that person might come real. But if they could kind of see you faking it or whatever, they ain't got no time for you. You're wasting their time. And they don't want to go, like a lot of people don't want to waste their time and their emotions if something ain't going to work anyway. If you look, like if you a Capricorn and you looking for something serious, you don't want to be talking to somebody that's wishy-washy and all that. Because you could be talking to somebody that got the same vision you got, so y'all can go forward. And you got to remember, her Capricorn is in Aries, and that they got real good focus. They're like their eyes is real focused, and they're real forward-moving people. They just don't got no time for no silly stuff. So we'll find out more, but if that's your past life, maybe your true north node, your present life is saying, you know, laugh a little bit more, just be with family, learn how to be goofy, and don't take a relationship so seriously that it ain't gonna last because we too serious. But like I said, we just getting started, so you just gotta, you know, take it step by step. That's why the last one I did, well, that one was deep. I'm gonna tell you, that last chart I did was over 4 hours. That was a deep chart. Each chart is different. I'm letting y'all know right now. But now, again, that number can bring luck though, and optimism. They said it also brings an abundance of an energy. But it still may be something worldly and short-lived. But again, sometimes you got to have that. You know, you didn't come here to be perfect. Like, people got to realize that. Like, some stuff is metaphysical, and some people that are here are earth angels. They're from other, like, whatever you want to call it. So they didn't come here to be perfect, and that's what people don't understand. If you got through this whole life without no faults, you would be perfect. So you're not going to be perfect. And this is why even when they gave you the Messiah, they show you the Messiah going into the temple and beating people up. Now, this is the same person talking about turn the other cheek. Well, why didn't you turn the other cheek when you beat the people up in the temple? So it's not perfect. So that's why I try to say maybe in the past life, your south node, which is where your Capricorn is, that's your south node. Where your true north node is, that's your north node. That's your present life, what you're supposed to be doing now. So maybe in your past life, it was kind of like, see, when you deal with Saturn and Capricorn, you can be dealing with somebody that's rigid. And now maybe this life is telling you, your true north node is telling you to have more fun, be a little bit more silly, be a little bit more goofy, and stuff like that. Be more like the person your family wants to see, because you make everybody laugh and stuff like that, and not the person that's going, man, my family get on my nerves. I ain't seen my so and so in years. Last time I seen they just get on my nerves. So that may be the message, and that looks like that's what it is so far. So they're saying you want to learn from mistakes and things like that. So they say when you got a number 3, they're encouraging you to go deeper. Like you want to really get deep. Like when people be saying understand and overstand. See that like 3 don't care about all that. Like that's me. Like man, stop saying all that stupid shit. Like I get like what do that mean? Or you saying as a word? Who cares? Cause I don't do all that. So like when they say they don't want you to just be a 3. But what I'm saying in your case, in your past life, you may have already been that deep Capricorn energy. And now in your true north node is going 3. So it's kind of like telling you don't be so deep and don't be so serious with your number 3. That's your true north node, is to tap into that 3 energy. And now number 3 on the tarot card is the Empress. And she is, see, and that's in your family. That's in your Cancer family. So Cancer is family, ancestors, teenage to adult education, land, property, real estate, the heart, your health, vehicles and travel. And it's also your Imum Coeli. And that's whatever woman raised you when you were younger in that mother position. That person, whoever that was, that person will be in your conscious mind your whole life. So that's, and see, the moon is ruled by Cancer. So that moon is like your Imum Coeli. That moon will always have mother energy. And so will Cancer. So that's because that's always going to be in your 7th house. But if you notice, just like on my chart is similar to yours in the sense that right across from each other. See, I got in my 2nd house, I got Cancer, but then right across in the 8th house, I got the moon in Capricorn. So therefore, that mother energy is really in both those houses because she's already going to be with Cancer. You can't separate whether you see it or not. The moon will always be connected to Cancer. And then in the other house, you got the moon in Capricorn. So that's what you're dealing with too. So that's your Empress energy as well. And she's going to help you create. And like I said, she is about, she's about that child stuff. She's about creation. And she's about like nature. Because like when you see people take their children out to play outside or take them walks outside or take them for a picnic outside or in the grass in the parks. See, that's that number 3 energy. That's the Empress. So for your true north nodes, you already see it. You already see it with the whole family, creation, children is right there. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but a lot of people will say to me, oh, I don't see it and blah. But you always got to look at yourself as the why. And I'm always saying the universe, when the universe is showing you on your natal chart that this is like why you're here, you have to look at the reasons why. Like I said, my twin flame, the universe kept me and her together constantly. But neither she nor I could get over whatever was keeping us apart. But the universe will bring people your way and stuff like you, but it's up to you not to play hard to get. And it's up to you, but it's there. Because a lot of times people don't get pregnant or people don't get married or people don't get engaged because they do it. They block it. Because the universe is constantly giving them opportunities. But they say, oh, I don't like this. Oh, no, I'm choosy. I'm picky. Oh, no, I'm not. And then they don't get it. So it's not the universe's fault. So you got to make sure if you see it on your chart, then that means that's why you're here. That's your true north node. So that's why you're here in this life. Because your south node, you were more about that business. More about you put career and stuff over family and stuff like that. Now you're Lilith. Now going back to your first house. So finishing up with your 7th house, so you would be, your true north node is to be family oriented and also, more family and relationship oriented. But that's all family. And like I said, as much as nowadays people just have things twisted. So let me give you, I got to do this. Give you all a little bit of history. Now you're right, I was there. So I remember the old days. And men went to work, women stayed home, and in some of those cases they bullied the heck out of women, beat them up. But I was also there when women revolted and defeated the men, and they should have. They should, because nobody be beating nobody up. And unfortunately, though, now we so far that we don't even know what a traditional family looks like. Depending on, like some people might, but depending on what your ethnic background is, you may not know what a like a mom, dad in the household look like. So I think that's a great disservice, and things have become so you wouldn't even know. Like if you took a traditional family, like father knows best and all that back in the day, if you tried to take that family and put it to what you see now that's considered a family, you would think you was on a different planet. So the point I'm trying to make is what happened back then was wrong, and I see why they revolted. But now it's just really a hot mess. And now people are confused about this, confused about that, don't know what's going on. So, but there's nothing wrong with a family when it functions the way it should function, the correct way. Because right now you got people that just, that's why I say, this is why people say, oh, I don't know, I'm picky and all that. But what they're really saying is, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want a traditional type family. I'm not trying to be nobody's woman all the time. And I'm not trying to be home, or I'm not trying to do this. I don't want to be worrying about no house. But yeah, your natal chart would generally always be traditional. Now, unless you see like if you see Aquarius in the 7th house, then that's going to be a non-traditional relationship type thing. Or Aquarius in the 6th house would be a non-traditional like family or home. So it is what it is. But yours is basically going traditional. Now, well, what I'm trying to say is when people are ready for it, it's not as bad as the world has made it seem. But you got to understand, you're constantly under propaganda. That's what they call it, tell lie vision. It tells lies to affect how you think and how you see things. So you watch it, you listen to it, you sing the songs, and you start believing all that. And all that is just garbage. It's like the biggest tool of deception. But when you understand spirituality, then you understand why it's being done and stuff like that. And that's why I said sometimes you have to go metaphysical, and you have to realize that you're not always going to be in third dimensional. And if they dumb you down, and this is what RFG Chosen One tries to tell everybody, if they dumb you down, then when it's time for you to go to a higher dimension, you ain't going, because you're going to be dumbed down on third dimension. And then whatever's going to happen. And like I said, if you remember Raiders of the Lost Ark, because there's a lot of metaphysical stuff in those movies. But if you remember when they got ready to open up the Ark of the Covenant, and they opened it up and them spirits started coming out, and he told her, don't look. And those spirits came out and killed everybody there except for him and that woman he told don't look. So what I'm trying to tell people, when we get ready to go into the 5th, there's not going to be no need for the 3rd. And everything goes in the fire. So that's why you don't want to be dumbed down. You want to take back who you are. You do want your natal chart because you want to find out why you're here. And you want to try to get as close to your purpose as possible. So that pretty much is your 7th house. Now, like I said, with everybody gets a new natal chart. They get a free report. It explains everything about astrology for your references, all about the houses. Anything that has videos to help you with relationships and things like that, to walk in the spirit, lead like a more spiritual life. Because at the end of the day, you're a spirit person in a fleshly body. And the Matrix dumbs down your spirit. It tries to dumb you down so you don't worry about your spirit, and it pumps up the flesh. Everything is flesh, and everything. But like I was saying on the last video I did before this one, you have to learn how to balance things out. There's a time and place for everything. So going back to your 1st house, Capricorn energy. Now, your moon is interesting because it's the number 10. That is the Wheel of Fortune card. Now, that connects to Jupiter. So now Jupiter energy will always be like expansion, good fortune, finances, abundance. Which makes sense if you're a Capricornian, because you want to work hard. You are going to be interested in finances and things like that. Now your Lilith, which is right next to that moon. So your first house is very moony, but you have Lilith and the moon, and they call Lilith like the black moon. And she's at 18 degrees, and the 18 degrees, the 18 is the moon card. But you also have to be careful, because sometimes with the moon, it could kind of like deceive you. But also makes you kind of very psychic as well. It makes you very psychic, but the moon sometimes can deceive you. So you have to be very careful with what you choose to believe. So I'm going to look at a few things. So again, that's why you got that 3 on your true north node. And they're not telling you to not take relationships serious, and don't take family seriously. What they're telling you is in your past life, your south node, you was real serious. And now they're telling you you gotta how to laugh more, have fun more, and stuff like that. In this life. All right. Now just give me a moment, because I'm looking at a couple of things. All right, we're gonna read. I don't know if we're gonna read all this, but we're gonna read a little bit of this. This is moon. This is Lilith conjunct moon. Yeah, it's interesting. See, because I was telling you about that whole mother thing, and when you get the moon conjunct Lilith, that's what you're gonna be dealing with. So you might really want to listen up. I'm just putting it. I'm making it easier so I can read the whole thing without all unnecessary stuff. So give me a moment. All right, and what we're gonna do first, just gotta give me, like I said, gotta give me a moment because I'm setting this all up. All right, now I got somebody new here. I want to check her out. Dark astro psychology. That's some deep shit. Ha ha. All right, so we're gonna look at her real quick, but I want to find somebody else because sometimes people just go real dark and they go like Lilith ain't even really like that. I did one video. I spent the whole like just talking about Lilith because people just make her out to be all this crazy stuff. All right, so now this one might be a little bit more. Now this one is called the hoodwitch.com erotic astrology. So we're gonna be doing two different people. One's gonna psychoanalyze it, but this is deep. All right, here we go. Lilith in Capricorn. This is the hoodwitch.com. She embodies the spirit of greed. Capricorn thrives on business success and social status. And with Lilith there, the thirst for both, which is business success and social status, becomes insatiable. It's an impressive driver for starter from the bottom. She had to put Drake in there. Style accomplishments. But it's not as practical as it may seem. Whether it's in the bedroom or the boardroom, this Lilith in Capricorn is always looking for an investment piece. So that would kind of be what's being said. Because in the past life, business came first. Her reputation came first. All right. So like I said, just give me a moment because I'm adjusting all this information. All right. In other ways, when you have the moon, that should be with Cancer. And when you're talking about Capricorn, you're dealing with Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. So you're dealing with the masculine, the feminine, the masculine being Saturn, feminine being the moon. And but really, whenever you're dealing with Capricorn ruled by Saturn, you're dealing with karma. So like I'm saying, your first house is karmic. And some people may say karmic debt. Sometimes they say karmic assignment. And we will get to Palace, but Palace does indicate your soulmate. Because a lot of times when you see Palace on your chart, it's where your soulmate fits in a house to try to help you get some type of balance. And depending on how it's arranged, it could even actually cause disorder. But we haven't determined that yet. So like I said, you're dealing with two moons. black moon Lilith, and the moon. So you're going to get the mother and the anti-mother being one. So this will be the Black Madonna. And she's an extra potent, and she's a Virgo type. So they're saying she could be the virgin and the whore. Or the very worst manifestation of Lilith can surface. So this is a priestess with occult ability at the highest level. Because you got to think about stuff. See, when you hear stuff like this, it makes you think. You know how when you be in them, like if you work for those businesses or corporates or whatever, and they always having some type of meeting, and they always bring everybody in that room, and everybody got to sit around that table, and then usually the room is dark or something, and they put on a slide or something. All that shit is occultic. And then what they call it, a board meeting. Okay, we got a board meeting, like a Ouija board. Say, this is how real it is. Remember, y'all got to break that shit down. It's called Capricorn. But Capricorn is number 15 on the tarot card. And that's the devil. That's Baphomet. Got everybody bound to him. And then they say career. Well, your ka is your soul. That's your spirit. Now, when you hear Jesus, he says, get behind me, Satan, or get behind me, Saturn. But when you go to a career with Saturn, he says, career. Get behind me. Get rear, ka. Like, fuck your soul. We're going to do it my way. We're going to talk about the flesh. And then you become greedy. You want that money. And you don't have time. If you're really getting money, you don't have time to be worrying about no spiritual stuff. So, I'm not putting it down. Because everybody got to pay their bills. But I am saying it makes you think. Because the more you realize that this is the reality. See, while you waste all that time on that bullshit you getting from the Matrix, this is the real deal. And this is what they don't want you talking about. And this is what they don't want you learning, because it's your real power. And once you learn how to tap back into it, like I just said in that last video I did, once you tap back into your power, all that other stuff ain't going to be as silly as it used to be. But like I said, any female that's playing hard to get, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. As long as the dude ain't crazy, who wouldn't want to go out and somebody pay for the meal? I'll never understand that one. So you say, oh, for this reason, for that reason, for that reason. But then if the same dude stops showing you attention and shows it to somebody else, now you're jealous. Now you want to start a world war, and now you want to break those two people up. But he wanted you and you ain't want him. So this is the stuff we do in third dimensional. So once you start to rise above that, when the universe brings you opportunity, you don't be so quick to just be like, because you're thinking fleshly, emotionally, but you're not thinking universally or spiritually. And the universe is always talking to you or trying to bless you one type of way, trying to show you something. So this person might have an offbeat sense of humor. And they find their niche in the absurd and surreal. So they're very attracted to the women and the goddess. They may have been brought up by a single mother or one who was quite bewitching and or manipulative to the point it felt like she was inside of them. But y'all gotta understand, like, that's still gonna be Imon Coeli, because that's why that's astrological. People don't realize how powerful the mother is, because she will be in people's subconscious minds and stuff like that for a long time. That's why Alfred Hitchcock gave you Psycho, the movie Psycho. And Alfred Hitchcock was a master, You could say Freemason if you like, but he was deep into, he was into the same stuff that Aleister Crowley and Aleister, all those guys, all those deep witches and all that. Hitchcock was deep into that. So with Lilith conjunct the moon, there will be a glorification of the feminine. It could make a male with Lilith conjunct the moon. The male would be a misogynistic, misogynistic, and they have all these mother issues going on, and they could be either worshiping or abusing females. Now the women with conjunct, women with the Lilith conjunct the moon, they feel happiest in the bosom of the goddess, but that may cause them to reject marriage and a husband altogether. So that will go back to your number 3. Your number 3 and your true north node in the 7th house of relationships. And that 7th house is ruled by Libra, and Libra represents business partners, relationships, contracts, open enemies, agreements, the law, karma, justice, the courtroom. And because Lilith is known for killing children or stealing babies or whatever, this is another reason why the woman may not want that. So that takes on a whole, see, that makes 3 take on a whole new thing. Because believe it or not, 3 is like, it is children, even with the Empress. So that's what it said. Maybe in the past life, that's how you were, and you may still have that in you, because that's your past life. And a lot of people stay on the South Node, because that's what they used to. So the universe has to come and push you to the to your North Node. Because I get the shit to this day. That's like, if you look on my chart in the career sector, the 10th house, you see Pisces, but Pisces is the feet. Now, I got trouble with that right now. I sound like a rap record. I got trouble with all that shit. Like I be getting the shit beat out of me, cause I be trying to like go forward, and I be getting knocked out. You know what I'm saying? But you can see on my chart that what I'm doing right now is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'll do it, and I enjoy doing it. But see, I'm still got my Capricorn mind. See, I'm like you an accountant. When you're a real Capricorn, you're like an accountant. It's all about them books. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you're dealing with God, when you're dealing with spirit, it's all about faith and trusting your angels and trusting your guides, and everything will be okay and all that shit. So you be like battling. Like it ain't okay because this bill is due in 3 days. It ain't okay. So you go back and forth with it. So the reason why I'm spending time saying that, because she's gonna have similar stuff going on. And especially the more you learn, the more the universe is going to start showing you more. So they're saying because of the whole Lilith thing, the person may not, even if they go through it, they won't stay with it. Like I'm saying, in the 7th house, if she doesn't understand her first house, that's why I said in the 7th house. Because sometimes people just want out, and they really don't even know why they went out. Because other people be like, well, it's going to be ups and downs in relationships. It's going to be ups and downs in marriage. And, you just have to learn how to get through it. And they be like, nah, I want out. But they don't realize it's because you got a conjunction like that. And that's why, like, somebody will say, oh, I'll stay together because of the kids. And other people be like, oh, fuck that. They still going to be kids. We don't have to do this together. We'll just take turns. But I don't have to be with him, or I don't have to be with her. So a lot of that could be Lilith. Could be Lilith conjunct the moon. It said Lilith women may not physically have children due to their sexual orientation. In other words, because she's not coming out and saying it, but if you're listening to what she's saying, when you got the moon conjunct Lilith, that's a woman that would rather be, like, she'd rather be with a woman. And they say if they do marry, these type of women may have great difficulty conceiving. Whatever happens, childbearing does not come or happen naturally for them. Now, Lilith conjunct moon is the archetype of the witch and the crone. Now remember, the divine feminine always comes in three personalities. The young girl, which can sometimes be the teenage girl, the woman, and then the old lady, which is the crone. So moon conjunct Lilith is good for midwives because they'll devote themselves to nurturing other women and those women's children as a substitute of their own. Because what they're trying to say is moon and Lilith may be a woman that just doesn't really want children, or if she has them, it's going to be a lot of mind fucks on those children, or, you know, letting the children act of making the children feel like she really ain't got time for them, and just be manipulating, messing them up and psychologically, or she ain't never going to want to be home. So your mom gonna be coming in and going out and coming out, because that's that moon conjunct Lilith. See, these are the reasons why you get the natal chart, because then you start to understand shit. And I tell anybody, don't be afraid of your natal chart. That's why, like I said, that last one I did was like 4-something hours, because I really went in. Because I could tell she was dealing with a whole lot of repression and stuff. You can't be afraid. It's nothing to be afraid of. Everybody on this planet got something that they need to work on. But you're running from it is not going to help, and being in denial is not going to help. And I just want to deal with happy. I don't want to deal with my subconscious stuff. I don't want to deal with my past life. Nah. But then what you do is you disobey the universe, and you got to pay for that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't do it your way. Like I said, like your natal chart is like your Bible from spirit, from the Creator, from God to you. And it has to be done by somebody that knows what they're talking about. Can't be no cheap-ass natal chart. Can't be some old bubblegum astrology. All this fake stuff out here on YouTube. Not saying everybody, but there's a lot of it out here. You can't just do it your way. You got to be humble and do it the universe way. Because this is how you're going to find whatever you're looking for. Because what happens when you don't... That's what I was saying. So I know what my calling is, and I try to stay with it. But every time I try to get to my South Node, the universe beat the shit out of me and keep sending me back to my true North Node, which is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. So she may see the same thing now that she's aware of it. You're not going to be able to stay in your South Node. The universe is going to keep beating your ass. But you're like all these people that keep on think they don't need their natal chart, to think they're going to do it their way. And they go to astrology or psychics or tarot card readers, but they only go halfway for selfish reasons. The universe is going to beat their ass too. Now, what happens is, as we leave third dimension and we go to fifth dimension, all these people that didn't do it the right way, they're going to be in danger of not making it. And that's it. That's what people don't realize. But if you was really doing it the correct way, you would know that. You would know. You would even feel it. You would know that you're not a third dimensional person no more. Shit that you used to do, you don't want to do. And you can start to see the foolishness in it. Because there's a lot of hatred for women. But they got you thinking that, oh, it's great. But they actually just pimping you out and playing you out. And that's why the universe stepped in. That's why now all of a sudden you see all these people going to jail for shit they did 17 years ago, 20 years ago. Because the universe suddenly stepped in, because God is female. God is woman. That's a fact. Everything comes out of her womb. So you're only going to do but so much to a female before God starts to step in. But she also spank your ass like your mother. So if a man has moon and Lilith, he may be a humanitarian. And remember, moon and Lilith can just also be Lilith in your 4th house, because that's still Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. Or Lilith in Cancer. If a man has a moon in Lilith, he may focus on humanitarian issues, and he may be like a mother. He might be like a nurturing man. He might help those who are suffering, or like he might be a spiritual leader or some type of teacher. But they may still have a powerful sexuality, but they conceal it in an ice maiden casing. And that's when they call like a dude like that a freak or something. But again, that's because of Lilith. That's why, again, you got to know, your chart, so you know this stuff. And they say that, like the nerdy guy that tries to hide his Lilith because he don't understand it, but people think he is sexy. He thinks he's not sexy, but other people think he is. Like somebody looking at a nerd, and he don't think he's sexy, but somebody thinks he is. Any of y'all remember the movie The Rain Man? And remember she was in the elevator with that dude, and then she started like kissing him and stuff. So to her that was sexy, that he was so couldn't, he wasn't really aware of a lot of stuff, and when he talked it didn't really sound like talk crazy, but he knew his shit. Like when it came to them numbers, couldn't nobody fuck with him. So she knew that. So that's what turned her on. So in that elevator, she like kissed him and stuff. But like nowadays that would be like abuse. Like nowadays she could go to jail for that. So this person, Moon conjunct Lilith or Lilith conjunct Moon, they may have a loony sense of humor. And they also might have a ludicrous domestic arrangement. These people don't give a fig what impression they make on the rest of the world, so their imagination has a free reign to go wherever it wants to. And that goes back to number 3, creativity, imagination. And these people might be great writers and stuff like that. Great creators. So they say this man was an exile Nazi. His name was Hermann Göring. He was separated from his mother for lengthy periods as a child, and he ended up in a hospital, severely disturbed, and he was a morphine addict, but they said he had a moon in Lilith. He was often hysterical and violent when fearful. But again, if you know anything about the Nazis, you should already know why. They believe it or not, like Hitler was deep into all that stuff. UFOs, aliens, astrology, you name it, anything unknown. Like I've never seen his chart, but I guarantee if you have his real chart, you're going to see a lot of 8th house, Scorpio, Pluto stuff on there. So he was hysterical, violent when fearful. And they say even though he was crazy like that, but he could be very sentimental. And they're trying to tell you, because a lot of y'all don't know how deep Steve Martin is into the occult. One of the funniest comedians of all time is Steve Martin. A lot of y'all don't know how deep he is into the occult. He's into the same type of shit that Alfred Hitchcock and the rest of them people was in. Beatles too. The Beatles openly told you they knew they really studied Aleister Crowley, all that stuff. But Steve Martin was a magician in his early days, and of course he's known for his illogical and absurd comedy, because again he's probably got some type of Lilith Moon shit going on. Now let's see if we can look at that real quick just to see. Give me a moment. Steve Martin's natal chart. According to the chart, I don't really like to go because you never know if they're telling you the truth. But according to the chart, he was born on August 14, 1945 at 5:54 a.m. So I'm going to tell you right now that probably was 5:55 a.m. Why am I saying that? Because he's probably got a connection to the divine feminine. So it probably was 5:55 a.m. And Leo, Scorpio. Oh, here you sun sign Leo, moon sign Scorpio. ascendant Leo, and then Taurus. All I want to know is where Steve's Lilith is at. Woo! His Lilith is conjunct the moon, right at Scorpio. So now you know why his comedy was the way it was. See, you learn something new every day. His true north node is also in Cancer. And most of his activity is on the left side of his chart. Like he has very little activity on the right side of his chart. And he even has the nerve to have like a little pyramid in the center of his chart. Because he's down with Egyptology. He owns an Egyptian museum. Whether y'all know that or not. But he used to tell you. Well, he used to dress up like Pharaoh. Remember he used to do that? He had that song about Pharaoh, King Tut. King Tut. Ha ha ha. Egyptologist. He was the same thing as a Freemason or a Charles Taze Russell or a Joseph Smith or the rest of them Freemasons. All right. All these people have lived past lives and stuff. All right. So let's go on. Like if you look at Andy Kaufman, even his chart, Andy Kaufman could dance and stuff. Like he could play the bongos. Like I know that dude has some soul in him. I saw Andy Kaufman play the bongos one time. He was dancing and stuff. I said, man, he looked like an African. He was killing them bongos, like unbelievable. Like I used to watch him when I was a kid, but I forgot, I guess. I didn't know he could play them bongos like that. He was singing at the same time. And he had perfect rhythm and shit. I said, this dude gotta have been like an African or something in the past life. So now one lady had a moon conjunct Lilith named Kate McGann, but there was a mysterious disappearance of her daughter, Madeline. So that's but see what I'm trying to tell you. See, me being like an astrologer, I already know what happened. Like you don't have to like I'm a detective too. Like she would be my primary suspect, the mother. Just like that little girl, Bonet, that thing. Like you get the natal charts out, you best believe you probably could figure some stuff out. But a lot of these rich people, they sacrifice their kids and everything. And some of them got caught doing it. One couple did it, or they was doing some type of weird ass ritual with their kid, and the kid died, and they tried to set it up on the help. They tried to blame like the maid or something. And then after a lengthy investigation, they found out she didn't do it, that they did it. See, all this weird shit be going on. Y'all gotta understand, I used to be a garbage man, and I used to be in a rich neighborhood. I'm not gonna tell you what ethnic background these people are, but they're known for like worshiping the devil and stuff. And you would see it all in their yards and on their driveway, and the kids would be out there making all them devil signs and stuff like that, all that crazy shit. But they got all that money because of it. So now another guy's name was James Booger, who was taken from his mother in a busy shopping center, then tortured and murdered by two 10-year-old boys. So I guess he was young, and two 10-year-old boys kidnapped him. And what I be trying to tell y'all, when you understand astrology, like you'll understand the shit that you're reading right now. Now, you'll be more aware of the world around you and shit like that. And therefore you'll be better protected. Because right now, like I said, the first thing somebody say is, I'm just gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna be sexy. I feel like being sexy. But you gotta be careful. Because if you going somewhere and you just walking, let's just say you being sexy by yourself. Right here in New Jersey. Now y'all gotta understand. Now I did a video on this. It's on my other channel. The universe sent me a name Jamal or something like that. Jamar. Now this was like about 7 days ago. And I did a video on it. It took me to Myra and a wedding. All that's on my other channel, if it's still public. Right? Now, right here in Monmouth County, New Jersey, where I'm at, a little girl, 14 years old, same name, is missing. She went missing yesterday. The same name. So you're tapped into the universe for a reason. But then that's how you know. And that's why I said, you say, well, I feel sexy, I'm gonna just go sexy. But then something will tap into you and be like, yo, but where you going? You know what I'm saying? Or make sure you bring your phone with you, or make sure people know where you at, or make sure you keep a jacket with you, or some shit like that. Because all it takes is a second for somebody to grab your ass up. And everybody think, oh, I'm a badass, ain't nobody gonna touch me and all that. When you're dealing with a psychopath, they could care less. They grab you up like a caveman would. Your ass be dragging. You know what I'm saying? Or what you gonna really do when that really happens? Because everybody talk tough until them guns come out or some crazy shit. So when you tap back into the universe, you start to see things differently. But you also get messages and everything else. And you start to see how silly some of the stuff we do, like when you, like somebody with a serious drinking problem. Ain't nothing good coming out of that. You're gonna fuck your livers up, might mess your kidneys up. You're gonna get arrested, lose your driver's license, you owe all this money to the court, might do some time in jail. But when you don't have that, that's all you got is this life. And this matrix is there to dumb you down, make you devalue yourself and dumb you down. And that's why I say, when you cheat the universe, you play yourself out. Because somebody say, oh, I don't care about all that. I'm going to go to the psychic. I just want to know about this female. I just want to know about this dude. I just want to know about this. So it's all this information that the universe is trying to tell you about your life and yourself, but you don't care about it. So then, like I said, that goes into what I call, when mama going to give you that ass whipping. Everything in the universe is regulated by God. Like, just to help you understand it, I'm making it as simple as possible. But everything in God's creation has a number, and He knows what it is. Now, whether it's a literal number or just how God identifies you, but you're just like you got a number that God identifies you with. So do the stars, so do the birds, so do everything in your house, whether you see it or not. You just can't tell God or the universe what you're gonna do. It's like that's the biggest deception that people do. So they said something about Julia Walters. She used to do a lot of hijinks comedy, so she got expelled from school. And then she played the mother of the witchy Weasley boys. But again, that's Lilith. The comedy, the Lilith conjunct Moon is Lilith. And then her playing a mother of a witch. Again, Lilith. So they say a lot of times when you see same-sex marriages and things like that, that could be Lilith. Moon, some type of Lilith moon aspect. But it doesn't have to be Lilith. It could also be Aquarius and just other things. All right. So now she has Mercury at 24 degrees with Curious, the asteroid. And that's a nurturer. So not only is she a great communicator and all this first house stuff we talking about with Mercury, and she's a great thinker, a strategic. So she might be really like a very creative person, very good thinker and intellect, because this is all Mercury energy. But she's also going to be a nurturer, like helping other people with it. And remember, Mercury rules Gemini, the third house, but also Virgo, the sixth house. Or let me do that again. Virgo, let me just think. Yeah, Mercury, the planet, rules the sign Virgo and the sign Gemini. So again, the give me a second. All right, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to look at the number 24 because her Mercury and her Aquarius is 24 degrees. And the tarot cards go up to 21, the major arcana. So after like 22, 23, 24, the numerology takes on a different meaning than the major arcana. There is no tarot card number 22 or 23 or 24. All right, give me a moment. So people see number 24 as the return or the turning point. Like the December 24th is the longest, darkest night of the year. And then according to their beliefs, on the 25th, this Savior is born. So 24 can mean deep cycles of the heart that enclose us into systems of sentiment and beliefs that are so powerful they form the foundations of all societies. But they gave you Mercury because you're some type of speaker and even a strategic in these areas. And then you nurture, because the asteroid is Capricorn, that's the nurturer. That's like the mother. And they're saying number 2 would be the high priestess, again with the moon, because that's her. The planet she corresponds with is the moon. So number 2 would be the high priestess, and number 4 would be the materialistic emperor. So in other words, you're going to find a way to take materialism and use it for the purpose of the high priestess. And her purpose is ultimately spiritual, but it's hidden spirituality. It's secret spirituality. It's occultic spirituality. And then she says when you do that with the 2 and the 4, you come up with the number 6, which is the Lover's card. But remember, the Lover's card isn't just about the lovers, it's also about doubt. And that goes back to the moon, because the moon can cause you to see things foggily. So in your first house, there is going to be some forms of doubt, not seeing things the right way, or even possibly some forms of deception, whether it's intentional or just because you're believing something that's not necessarily true. Now that number 5, see, they didn't want to tell you that. Like, they didn't want to say that the 5 is the Pope, is a Taurus energy. And they, in fact, they even just go 555. Like, they won't even do just number 5. But the truth of the matter is, for anybody that's listening, it is the Pope. And what you got, the Pope is the high priest. See, that's why I say humans always like to add. See, I've learned along, because I've been doing this a long time. But usually the people who did this ahead of you, now I'm not talking, like, even take the Bible. Now I'm not talking about humans coming after whoever did it and trying to put their spin on it. But whoever brought it to you in its original form, they knew what they were doing. For the most part. Like, I don't even want to, I was going to go 99.99%. They knew what they were doing. I don't even want to do that. So you don't have to think, oh, let me change this. Let me make this more under. You don't have to do that. They knew what they were doing. So if you notice, they put your 4 with your 5. And they just told you number 4 can be more materialistic. Like 4 is like, it's kind of like Capricorn. It's a hard worker. But it's more earthy. But then it gave you number 5. And that's the high priest. Well, we just showed you from your numerology and with that moon that you're like the high priestess there. And see, Pallas is your soulmate. A lot of people don't think that asteroid Pallas is a soulmate asteroid, but it is. Because he comes to help balance out in that house. So in your first house, you have found a unique way to take something that's spiritual and kind of merge it with physical or material things. It's almost like, and I've seen this, but it's almost like that Lilith comes down into the material world through you and your first house. And with that high priestess comes the Taurus energy, or the Pope, the Hierophant, and he's the high priest. And that's your Pallas. And just look at the diamond. It looks just like the hat that the Pope wears. So what you, and that's what you see. You see all this stuff from the spirit world coming down. But a lot of people believe that Jesus Christ was the literal light that came out of the darkness of creation. But it was the light in the human body. And that his mother and maybe even Mary Magdalene was the darkness or the creator. The womb. They say, oh, I don't know about that, and yada, yada, yada. So, real quick, let me just show you. Time to wake up a little bit. A lot of people want to stay asleep, but you can't stay asleep because we're at the end of third dimensional, so all these secrets are readily available. And that's why in the Bible they say, ears that hear, like people that want to hear it. Let the whoever, let the church, let the congregation listen to what the Spirit says. All right, but now here we go. This is John chapter 20, verse 1. The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre. Okay, now the sepulchre was like the womb. Because when you go to John chapter 3, it talks about dying and going back in your mother's womb and being born again. So when they put Jesus in this tomb or the sepulchre or this cave, that was like going back into the womb. And then they make sure they tell you that Mary Magdalene came when it was still dark. So if you go back to Genesis 1, that's when the light came out of the darkness. When you go to John chapter 1, it tells you the light came out of the darkness, and that light was Jesus Christ. So they're telling you metaphysical stuff. And they even tell you that this was he really was the light that created everything. But now he's in a human body. So why do you think it's any different with you? Why? Because you've been lied to by people from Europe to tell you some crap that they took all this holy stuff that they knew to be true, and they switched it on you. So now you got all these holy people thinking they ain't shit. From Native Americans, they put them on reservations and keep them high off of alcohol and other stuff. And then the other holy people, they treat like garbage. So in your first house, you see it. And it's in perfect harmony with the universe through the numerology. But either you could choose to believe it or don't. I can only show you that it's there. Now, they also say that your good fortune or a part of fortune helps understand your past life as well. Well, your part of fortune is at that karmic degree of 29 degrees. And again, this is usually something that has to do with your karmic assignment or your soulmate or your twin. So your good fortune is 29 degrees. Let's look at that. Oh yeah, so we did enough for the moon and Lilith. That was good. Because this person says psycho dark astro psychology. She went real deep with it. And I don't like to go that deep with it. Because that might be true for some people, but it may not be true for everybody. It's just some people, as soon as they see a Lilith, they just go real dark. They just go real mean. And she's not always out. Like I said, my understanding of Lilith is if you don't fuck with her, she don't fuck with you. But if you fuck with her, then you're gonna have a war on your hand that you're gonna wish you didn't start. That's what she don't care about your kids and all that. But if you don't mess with her, she's like cool. That's how I know her. All right. All right, now can't agree. I can't say for sure if it's going to be here, but it says karmic, astrology, and the part of fortune. So give me, I'm just looking this over. All right, they're saying something, but okay, it says part of fortune in the first house. You came into this life to be independent without harming or living in disdain of others' beliefs. You're highly competitive. You like the game of challenge and the thrill of the win. But you must win honestly without cheating or harming others. Your opposing position is the 7th house, and you must not become entangled in dependent relationships. You can be loving, supportive, and caring, and loyal without becoming dependent on the love from another for your happiness. And that kind of makes sense, but it's at 29 degrees, but it's still a karmic assignment. So I think because of the power of Lilith, like you will, and we saw it when we was in your 7th house. So it's kind of like I'm open to a relationship, but not if it's going to be to what you would classify as needy. Because with that number 3, you would probably tap out. Like I said, what I said earlier. This is the person that's like, they just went out. And other people are trying to tell them what you're complaining about is not that bad. But they're like, nah. I want to separate. And like I said, I knew a person that had told me that one time. And that's how they were. They were really outgoing. They wanted to know a lot of guys. They wanted to do whatever they wanted, whatever. But they was like, oh, I have a child with you, but I'm not going to be with you. She said, I have a child with you. We could raise a child together, but I'm not going to be with you. But that's because she wanted to be with everybody. So that's like that. Like when you hear stuff like that, that's like a lot of what we're learning. Lilith, a lot of Lilith stuff. But I've seen Lilith want to be in a relationship. She just wants to be respected. I've seen Lilith bring people together on the natal charts. That's why I know she's not that lie everybody says. The reason why they make her out to be bad, this was done by the old system. And that's when they thought, oh, women should be seen and not heard and all that stupid shit. So Lilith was telling them dudes to go to hell and F you in. And so they hated her because she would tell you where to go quick. So they had to make her out evil and shit. Oh, you don't want to be like Lilith. She's a demon. And like I said, don't get me wrong. Now, in the other world, there's other worlds around us. If you believe in evil and you go looking for it, you will find it. But that's why if you understand metaphysics, you stay optimistic, positive. You stay away from that stuff and you learn how to protect yourself. And all that stuff is online. Like I said, a lot of you can find it on YouTube and just look it up. And for me, I do it for research services, but you could also look it up if you want to. So in this day and time, nobody should really be misled. It's just too much information to help you not have a bad experience in the spirit realm and stuff like that. So your 29 degrees part of fortune is your mate, your twin soul, your twin flame. But in this life, it's not going to really be, it may not be like, oh, you know, ultimate love as far as, oh, I want to be with you, I can't live without you and all that type of stuff. But they'll still be there though. And again, some people change their mind. Some people, you know, once you see it on your natal chart, some people change their mind. All right, give me a moment because I don't even know what that noise was. All right, let me look around. So the good news is this may be a person she's with or working. Like part of fortune in the first house is going to have that aggression, but it's also part of fortune in Capricorn again is aggressive, like succeed. So like I said, this is like a person she may be with, but it won't necessarily be that deep love. It's not like it's more like business. Like I can't explain it to you. I'll try my best. Sometimes people just get off with another person, but it don't have nothing to do with it. Don't like what turns them on is, wow, you really good with business. Like because of you, I make my goals. Because of you, I make my financial goals and make my goals. And that's what turns them on. So that's what I'm seeing so far in this first house. It's not necessarily, oh, I'm attracted to you, or I'm attracted to your looks, or my heart, I can't be without you. It's not that type of thing. So that's what I'm seeing so far. So a lot of times when you see Palace, this is the person, your soulmate, who comes to balance out whatever's going on. And that's what you're looking at. Like I said, what I'm seeing is the high priestess and the high priest coming down into the material world. That's what you're seeing Capricorn. That's a grounding sign. You're seeing the number 4. That's a grounding sign. 24 could be the high priestess, and Aries. Aries is the emperor. That's Aries energy. So it's them coming down, but being like financial success. Like there's a video of Michael Jackson, and in the video, he has all the smoke going on, and it goes really spiritual. But he got all the smoke going on, and he's got a little white thing on, and it's blowing in the air, and it got all that. It's going real spiritual, and then he's got all the children around him and all the people around him. It's almost like they're worshiping him. You can see that video on YouTube. So you want to say to yourself, this is why I said a lot of times when y'all say, oh, why? What a narcissist. But he's a narcissist for a reason. And this is what y'all have to get through your heads. If they say the light that came out of the darkness came down into a human body named Jesus Christ, that's what we call him, because that's what the Europeans told us to call him. Okay? But if he could do it, so you think he's the only one? When he constantly told you, you are sons of God, you are daughter, you're sons of God, you're one with God. So why was he saying that? What did that mean? Was he just saying that because it sounded nice? Or was he trying to tell you something about your essence? When he told Abraham, I'm going to make your seed like the stars of heaven. Now, if you come on YouTube, they say star seeds. Well, what's a star seed? That's a person that came from outer space. There's an Indian chief out here on YouTube. He said sometimes you might go outside at night and you look up and you look at a particular star. And he said that's probably where you're from. So that's why I said either you believe it or you don't, but you see it on the natal chart. And you got to remember, when you're dealing with your first house, the ascendant, because usually your ascendant is in the first house. And there's a reason why they call it ascendant, because it's almost like it said you go back in your mother's womb and then you ascend out of it again. And usually your ascendant is in your first house. So now, that is your first house. So now we're going to go to the 12th house. Because they also say that your 12th house could also be one of your past lives. And in your case, it's Sagittarius. But see, now you have Jupiter in your 12th house. Now, Jupiter is your guardian angel. But really, any planet in your 12th house can be a guardian angel. But right now on YouTube, they don't tell you the name of the guardian angel. But at some point they will. Because I remember when I came on YouTube, when I first started doing this, they had no information about Lilith. Very little. They had very little information. But now they have nothing. They have nothing, a whole lot of information. So at some point, you'll know. But either way, Lilith, Jupiter will bless you, especially if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the 12th house. Your 12th house, you serving others as well. But again, when you serve other people, that doesn't mean you burn yourself out. But the best help you can give people is to show them how to help themselves. But you are supposed to serve in the 12th house. And see, Sagittarius is to be a teacher, because Sagittarius is usually a teacher in the 12th house. And you're supposed to teach to benefit the people. Because a lot of times the Sagittarius feels like I have more knowledge, therefore the people should honor me. But when Sagittarius in the 12th house, you're going to strictly to show show the people how to be teachers and how to benefit themselves. And The 12th house is to make you really feel, not just understand, but to feel. And the more you do that, then the more Jupiter will bless you. And it's like a guardian angel. So again, things might go wrong and you feel like, oh wow, that was all my money, wow. But that's when Jupiter's just going to pop up. Like out of nowhere. Finances will come your way. And what happens between, see, because Jupiter used to rule Pisces, and Pisces rules that 12th house. Now Neptune rules Pisces, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. But what happens with Pisces and Sagittarius in the 12th house is that Pisces is still a dreamer because of Neptune. But now with Sagittarius, those dreams can become a reality. And then you have the expansion of Jupiter. And your 12th house is also supposed to be where you go to work on anything that's hidden, shadow personality, subconscious things in your past, things that you have under the carpet. You're supposed to get closure in the 12th house. The 12th house is also about buildings, whether it be a church, a hospital, a police station, a courtroom. And really, the 8th house and the 12th house are a lot alike. Because the 8th house and the 12th house deal a lot with secrets and things like that. On your free report, it tells you everything that's in these houses. So you always want to get to know the 8th house because there's always a lot of stuff in the 8th. In fact, myastrologybook.com says that planet Pluto is the planet of the black people. So Pluto rules Scorpio. So you want to know your 8th house really well. Planet Pluto, because they say that's the planet of the black people. And Pluto is really the god of Hades or hell. And again, you see this in Revelation chapter 9 with the bottomless pit. Because if you notice, you're talking about the bottomless pit, then the smoke goes dark. And then all of a sudden, all these locusts are coming out of that bottomless pit. And then they go scorpion. Sting like a scorpion. We're talking about the 8th house, Scorpio. Because the Bible is definitely an astrological book. Although you can see a few verses that say, oh, it don't have nothing to do with looking at the stars. But again, you have to understand that's when you take God's creation and use it for a purpose that he didn't approve of. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. What about me? What about my career? What about this? You're not asking, what's my life purpose? So when you use it for the wrong purpose, like a lot of people do, that's what he's mad at. But he's not. It's like somebody steals your car and they repaint it. Let's just say you called your car Johnny. Then it was a blue car. So somebody steals Johnny and calls him Bob and paints it red. So you'd be a fool. And that's what we do. But you would be a fool to look at your car, you know it's your car, and go, oh, how's your car Bob riding? Oh, that's a pretty color blue. No, that's stupid. You should be saying that's my car and taking it back. So you see people like me doing that, and you see other people out here that are awake doing the same thing. We take our sciences back from this devil, this beast. And we teach what our ancestors would have taught us. I could give a flying freak about that beast. He's on his way out. His time's up. All right. So Jupiter at 7 is kind of mystical, but it's also spiritual. So you'll have that. And remember, both Jupiter and Sagittarius, they deal with a lot of philosophy, but they also question belief systems. And number 8 with Uranus, because Uranus is the rebel. Uranus is going to go against Capricorn. Uranus is going to go against Saturn. She represents the overturning stuff and stuff like that. That's why I said your 12th house is implying somebody who would really say, I don't believe that. You can't prove that. Ready to overturn it. And only overturn it, but also expand it. Because both, believe it or not, both Uranus and Jupiter are about expansion. And again, Jupiter can also be about electricity. So because this is in a water sign of Pisces, always be careful of like electrical shocks. Now the number 8, it depends on what card deck it depends on what card deck you're using. The number 8 can either be the strength card, and the ruler of the strength card is the sun, because that's your lion work, that's your divine masculine working with your divine feminine. But on some people's, the eighth card is like the justice card, which would be Libra energy. And then on other cards, it's number 11 is the strength card, and the 8th card is Libra. So it all depends on which deck you're using. And just give me a moment. All right. And then your ascendant at 19 degrees. And I'm looking at your Lilith again. So your Lilith is 19 degrees. It's not 18. So your Lilith is also the sun. But either way, it's still already what I told you. Because your first house is showing you the divine masculine, which is the high priest in this case, and the divine feminine, which is the high priestess. So it shows them two working together with Lilith energy. And it's interesting to see Lilith with 19, which is the sun energy. But that's interesting. But your ascendant is doing the same thing. So a lot of times you might see Jupiter, and Jupiter again is kind of like representing the divine, like the male, and then he rules over Sagittarius. So a lot of people would probably say Sagittarius energy is masculine, but I don't know if I agree with that. Not under this particular placement, because you're seeing a lot of feminine and masculine working together on your chart. But Sagittarius rules the 9th house, so your 12th house is also your 9th house. And that's philosophy, religion, higher courts, higher courtrooms, higher laws, long distance travel, foreign speaking people, religion, class. Like I say, oh, he has a lot of class. class, culture. And then again at 28 degrees is Neptune. So whenever you see Neptune with Sagittarius, things like that, again, these are very psychic people, and a lot of times they're connected to whatever you call it, other people around you, other dimensions, other worlds. And this 12th house is really lucky, and luck can come out of nowhere with that Uranus especially. But a very lucky house, especially if you have a serve mentality, because your 12th house is the house of service. And the only way you could mess it up is if you were selfish or you tried to make it benefit you. See, it has to be the house of service in order for that Jupiter to work. But the bottom line is you'll always have money. And it'll come out of nowhere. It'll come out almost as if by magic. And of course, sure, because of Neptune being there, your 12th house is going to have a bearing on your 3rd house as well. Because that's where Pisces is, and Neptune rules Pisces. And remember, your 12th house is also a very spiritual house as well. Even if those other placements weren't there, it would still be a spiritual house. All right, now we're going to your 3rd house. It's ruled by Gemini and has Aquarius there. Gemini deals with short travel, whereas Sagittarius deals with long distance travel. And Sagittarius is a little bit more mature than Gemini. So Gemini deals with short travel, young people, education. And when I say young people, like really young people. Creativity, poetry, multitasking, thought, publishing, I guess you could say teaching, the brotherhood, your siblings, the environment around you. Now, Aquarius rules the 11th house, and that deals with friends, association, and groups. So your 3rd house is very people-oriented, but because it's dealing with Aquarius and Gemini energy, it still doesn't want to go deep. So that's your sun sign. The number 20 is a judgment card. And the judgment card corresponds with Pluto energy. Pluto usually is used on a natal chart for transformation. And ironically, that's where your Pluto is in your 11th house, ruled by Aquarius. So you probably will be shining on other people and helping to transform them. And there you have Juno. Now Juno is showing you will have a serious relationship with somebody with either Gemini energy or Aquarius energy. And also, it could even be a sun sign because your Juno is right next to the sun sign. So the biggest question is, what does number 16 mean? Like I said, 20 degrees or 20 would be the judgment card. Pluto energy. And a lot of times when you see the sun connected to Pluto or Scorpio, this is somebody that's going to shine light to these occultic mysteries, these things that are hidden. This person will actually be talking about it and bringing it out to educate everybody, because that looks like that's what she's doing in the 11th house. So she kind of likes digging into the unknown or the mysteries of the occultic and then teaching other people. So number 16. Oh, number 16 is Mars. It's the Tower card. Mars energy or Aries energy. Now why would that be there? Well, on your chart, you keep seeing yourself with that masculine energy. And you saw it in your 12th house as well. But it's almost like y'all like to shake it up. Y'all like to shake up the falsehood, the fake stuff, and all this other stuff so that you can help the masses. Because your 12th house is a house of service, helping the masses. And then your 11th house and your 3rd house with Aquarius and Gemini energy, again, is helping the masses by shaking it up. So what the Tower card does is tear it down. So what they're basically saying is this man, what attracts you to this man is these reasons. He's about that business. He'll shake it up. He's not afraid. And that's what makes you attract to him. Going into the 4th house, which is really about family. Now, I already said what the 4th house is. Teenage, adult education, all that. I already said it, so we're not going to repeat it. I think I said like 2 times during this reading. But they normally call your 4th house a family house, but just to make sure you're aware, it's more stuff in it. But this is going to be some type of spiritual connection in the family or inspiration, some type of spiritual education. And it's karmic because of Mars at number 17. Now remember, whenever you see Mars in the 4th house and stuff like that, you have to be careful because it could be abuse towards children. So you have to be careful of that at all times. And this is also some type of karmic situation with the Mars energy. And the palace in the 4th house would represent some form of spirituality, but it's at that number 24 again. I'm sorry, it's just somebody. I gotta put this on pause. All right. So her Venus is 1313. All right, so we're gonna look at the number 24 again. Yeah, 24. So again, it's the High Priestess working with the Emperor, but then it becomes a number 6. Number 2 is the High Priestess. Number 4 is the Emperor, and then it becomes a number 6, which is the Lovers. But they're bound, like these two would be bound to a cause. And see, Vesta is spiritual. But one thing, Vesta don't always like male energy because they become like, they bully the female. And Vesta don't play that. Like she don't play, like you can see her on the chart. If there's any like dominating male, you'll see her right next to him. And like Vesta will put your ass in jail because she deals with isolation. And like she really introduced herself to me. Like I was here was on a Sunday, and I was learning just about the asteroids, and it was Vesta that showed me that all these asteroids are females. See, I didn't know that. I just thought they was asteroids. So Vesta showed me all these asteroids as females. And then I found out that Vesta represents anything that's energy and anything that's heat. It's Vesta. And so in your house, any electricity, any heater, anything is Vesta. And she also represents isolation and prisons and elevators and closed-in compartments. So that same day, we started having a problem with our heater. So the people here was flipping out, but I knew what it was. But I couldn't tell them because they would have thought I was crazy. Or they would have thought I was up here doing some type of crazy shit. So I ain't do nothing. They told me I ain't do shit. I ain't do nothing. So I just went along. I went like I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, I don't know. And they was like, oh, it's Sunday. Should we call an emergency? And you know how it is. If you call to get some type of repair on a Sunday, just to come out, it's going to be hundreds of dollars. And then they still going to charge you for any repair. Even if they just walk around, they're going to charge you for a repair. So I said, no, we should be okay to Monday. So now guess who came? So the repair tech who came to look at the heater was my older sister's boyfriend. She used to be deeply in love with him. Like you see that Venus next to all that? She used to be deeply in love with him. Now, Vesta corresponds with Virgo. So that's like Vesta corresponds with Virgo energy. Now, my sister that's deceased is a Virgo. And the dude that came over, like when they was teenagers, they used to be together. So all the stuff you're looking at with the whole Venus and Mars and Vesta and all that, that's what they were showing me. And that's how it was, because my sister, she was like Mars. My sister would fight anybody. So and it wasn't nothing wrong with the heat either. He said he couldn't find nothing wrong. But I knew they wasn't going to find nothing. Because that's how it is. That's why I said when you understand this, even if you study the Mayans, like they knew Venus was alive. Like the Mayans feared Venus. But I think they had Venus confused with Lilith. I don't know. But they were saying stuff like Venus would come down the chimney and kill their firstborn or something. And then that's why when you say here comes Santa Claus, it's Santa Claus because he come down the chimney. But that's Vesta too, because the chimney, I told you, anything with fire, anything like elevated shafts, all that's Vesta territory. So that's what you're looking at on your chart. And hopefully it won't get crazy like that. But like I said, you gotta show proper respect. And like if somebody always came in your house and took shit and never gave back, you're gonna be mad. That's why I say these people with the bubblegum astrology, they're hurting themselves. Because you go to astrology and steal, basically, but you don't ever go to astrology and say, what is my purpose? Why am I here? How can I bring myself in line with my universal purpose? You just, where's my career? What about my twin flame? Where's my soulmate? I want to be a singer. What about my job? What about my kids? What about that? So what your 24 is saying, with Vesta is, if they work together, one being the high priestess and the emperor. Why has he got to be emperor? Because a woman don't want no weak man. She wants a leader. She wants an emperor, Aries energy. And that's why it's right next to Mars. And Mars rules Aries. And that's why all this is going on in your first house. Because you want your man to be that emperor, that Aries energy. And that's how it works. And then you got to look at the number 17. And that's the karmic number too. Like whenever you see soulmate stuff on the chart, you're always going to see some type of karmic or Saturn relation and all that. And they said Saturn could mean your past life, but like I said, your twin soul been with you, no matter how they look at it. Like they try to tell you, they say, listen, your twin flame, normally y'all don't be in the same dimension at the same time. And I don't believe that shit. I really don't believe that shit. And I also believe a lot of times your twin flames is energy. And that's something the Groks One say too. Like the Groks One said, they think like this spirit is in one body or one. He said it's not. It's a spirit. It can go where it wants to. So and that's what Jesus said in John chapter 3. He said the wind go where it wants to. The wind lifts where it wants. So it's not going to be in one spot. So I think your twin will appear in different places and stuff like that. Give me a second. It's kind of funny. Right, give me a second. All right. So again, it's 17 is telling you it's karmic. The Mars is also telling you, implying Aries energy as well. And it's also could be very forceful and intent. And again, because the number 16 is Mars energy too. And they're telling you they tear stuff down. But that's what they're supposed to do. It's like they're almost like what I do. They're breaking through white supremacy. They're breaking through all the lies of white supremacy, capitalism, and all the stuff that took this world over and stole everything from the indigenous people. It's breaking through all that and bringing it back to the people. That's why you see Gemini, which is brotherhood, your environment around you, and Aquarius is the people, the community, friends, association, groups, and that can include family. And they're doing it together. And like I said, you'll have somebody say, well, you keep saying together, I don't even know who you're talking about. But you got to realize a lot of stuff is spirit. A lot of stuff that happens in your life is spirit. So like when let me just give you one example. Now, at one time in this house, had especially 2 drama queens. One's no longer with us. But they was always raising hell, always starting shit. Now, one night, one of them was sick of something. This was a while ago. It's like maybe 15 years ago. So anyway, I'm in a broken down as car and shit. I'm trying to go get them food because there wasn't no food in the house and they were sick. So now I'm in this broken down car trying to go find some food. So I went to like a fast food restaurant that was open. And it's like early in the morning. It's like a 24-hour fast food restaurant. So now I'm trying to get the food back. And go down the street. Now the street I went down is called Taylor Avenue. Now if you hear me talk, we always talk about somebody named Tyler or Taylor because that's a very mystical name. A lot of people don't know that. But always on the street, like a whole lot of weird shit would always happen on the street called Taylor Avenue. And people would get robbed, all kind of crazy shit. It was like it's a strange ass street. But that's because it's the metaphysics of the name. See, all this shit is real. Everything is energy. A letter is energy. A name is energy. A number is energy. And all this shit taps in throughout the universe. And like I said, this is why people be talking about astral planning and stuff like that. This is all energy. And the more you know and understand it, you'll be able to start to manipulate stuff. And this is the type of stuff that Tesla used to try to teach you. So I'm going down this street, and it's a dark ass street too. And I'm rushing kind of, because this person need to eat or whatever. And the street has like little dips and stuff. It always did. Still do even now. So I'm going kind of fast, and my car go down a little bit and come up and go like boom, and all my stuff just shut off. And I'm in the street, like it's like, and on that street you got to be careful because the way that street is designed, like you can't really see. So cars be coming down the streets real quick, and because you can't really see what's around you, it be accidents and stuff. And my car now just stopped and it's right in the street, so it's real dangerous. So now I get out the car. It's early in the morning. And when I say drama queen, but again, this is more metaphysics. It was always some BS. Because now, like I said, now my shit is fucked up. Trying to help this person. I don't even get along with her. If you keep it 100, I don't even get along with this person. Real talk. Now my car fucked up. So now I gotta get out. And I gotta try to open up the hood. And keep in mind, it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. And this neighborhood is known for robbing people. If you on a bike, they take you off the bike, they robbing. I'm right on that street. And the street it's a spooky ass street. So then I'm trying to open up my hood and trying to look in the trunk or whatever. Look in the hood. So then it's a cat that's walking. So the cat sees my car stop and sees I got a situation. So the cat just sat down. But I'm looking at this cat. And I'm going, why the heck this cat stopped? And he just sat down. And just sat right there. I said, this is some weird shit. Like, keep in mind, it's way before I knew about metaphysics, like 15 years ago. Now I just heard a dog bark. It ain't no dog around here. Because that lady next door, she said, that's another house that got all weird shit. They used to have dogs, and dogs used to be barking all the time, but that was a long time ago. So anyway, so I don't know what happened, but I do whatever. And I get back in my car, and I start the car up. So when the car started back up, that cat got back on his 4 legs and started walking again. So I went to drive. I put my car back in drive and put my foot on the accelerator. And my car went like a couple of inches and shut off again. The moment that car shut off again, that cat sat back down. I said, man, this is some weird ass shit. So then I did the same thing, went back. I don't know what I did. It's 15 years. I don't even remember. Did something again. And got back in my car. And it started up again. And I began to move. And when that cat seen that my car started and moved again, it got up again and started walking back up the street. And that's some weird ass shit. Because first of all, I don't know no cat. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Leo though. I'm a cat though. But who is this cat? And why does this cat care? I don't live on this street. Why does this cat care if my car starts or if it don't start? And what is it going to do if it don't start? Is it going to help me push the car to the side of the road? Like, what the fuck? So this is all that supernatural shit that goes on in the universe all the time. And whether that was an angel in a cat's body, I don't know, but that's some weird shit. But I've had stuff like that before. Even like I'm real connected to birds, like ravens and shit. Ravens and crows and shit. Because one time my car broke down somewhere else, a different car. This was years later. This car broke down. And then all them birds, they all just stayed there. Like they all came in that area and they stayed there until the tow truck came. And then once the tow truck came, then they started flying away. And then recently, this house I'm in now, them birds was cleaning our gutter. Because like right now, people are sick in the house. So if nobody can really move around. Everybody got something going wrong. And so normally I would get out there and clean the gutters. But I have to clean the gutters this year. No lie, them birds came. Them blackbirds. And they actually cleaned the gutter. Like they all got, it was a lot of them. And they went all the way down the gutter and just like if I had cleaned it, because you go in the gutter, you throw all the stuff out of the gutter on the ground and you rake it up. But they threw everything on the ground. And I came out and I said, what is that noise? I came out and then when they see me, they hauled ass. But then they came back and finished the job though. I ain't lying. I'm not making none of this shit up. So the bottom line is, but what I'm telling y'all is, this is why if you think about like Indians, what do Indians do? They name themselves after animals, and they be talking about the moon dance, the sun dance, and they be putting animal feathers in their hair, and they be named or a raging bull and all that, because it was all one. And like, it sounds crazy now because you under a deception of third dimension. But years ago, it was nothing. And like, even if you could find this old man. There's an old man who used to live with bears. And these was live bears in the wilderness. Now, how you going to live with bears? They kill you. They eat you. He lived with them. Because when he was younger, he used to hunt them. And then he felt guilty. So he actually went out into the wilderness and he became friends with them bears. And a couple of times they tried to attack him. And he would like have a stick, like a little stick, not a big one. He would be like, get down. Get down. And then a ferocious bear that was about to kill him will get down. And then the bear don't kill him. And then one time other people came. And them people was terrified, but they still came. And he was like, don't be scared. Don't be scared. And because he told the bears, don't do nothing. The bears ain't do nothing. So like that stuff you be reading in comic books and stuff. But you can see this. This is real. It's documented in videos. It might even be on YouTube. There's an old man. And he lived with them bears for a long ass time. And a couple of times, like a new bear might come. Like a new bear would come and he'd be like, you know how it is like when y'all supposed to be gangsters. And now all the gangsters is letting somebody in that shouldn't come in. So it's always like a real gangster come and be like, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all should kill this dude. What are y'all doing? So every now and then one of those bears would show up. And he would look like, why they letting this human? Why are these bears with this human? So he would go up. And like they would come to his door and be growling and junk, like, come out. Like they be telling him to come out. And then he still will go out. He would go out with that stick. He'd be like, get down and jump. And then they still wouldn't kill him and shit. All that shit was real. There's no way you can make that up. I'm saying you might see that video on YouTube. If not, go to a search engine and so the old man that used to live with bears and shit. And you can see that video. So what I'm trying to tell you is there's a power when you stop going by tell-eye vision and all the stupid stuff, this matrix and all these tricks they be doing with electricity and like you're supposed to be at 440 hertz. They got you down to some other thing to mess your mind up and all that. They know how to manipulate science to manipulate you. But what you have to do is take back who you really are. All right. So again, that number 17. And that's the star. Now the star is Aquarius energy. So now with Mars, just like I said. So again, in order to get back to the age of Aquarius, you got to break down the age of deception. And remember, the age of deception we're in right now is the age of Pisces. Because if you knew the full history of Christianity, it's not very nice. They went everywhere killing people, especially melanated people, killing them, forcing them to accept it. So that wasn't very nice. Just like you got a lot of people now that I'm not gonna say who they worship, but if they saw their ancestors was killed by that person, wiped out. So I'm sure if they could actually see that this person they're worshiping actually oversaw the murder of their ancestors, they won't worship that person. So that's what I'm saying. Mars is coming. And that's why I keep trying to tell y'all, if you understood the tarot card, that's why they say the Trump towers and the tower card is 16. But the tower card is about destroying the established religions and stuff like that because of their falsehood and their deception. And now it's time for them to be wiped out. Just study it. The number 16 tarot tower card is a destruction of the establishment. So that's what you got. You got you have the, and it's funny because it's in your fourth house of family. Like I'm telling, didn't I say earlier ancestors? Didn't I tell you all the fourth house is ancestors? So it's almost like that Mars is attacking what killed your ancestors. And then 13 Venus. Well, Venus is all about love. But remember, whenever the 13th sun comes out, it goes 13 love, 13 wisdom, 13 knowledge. And Venus corresponds with the number 6, which is love. But so does the Lover's card. And the Lover's card is number 6, but that corresponds with the Gemini energy. And yeah, and number 13 is the tarot card, the card of death. But the card of death really just means rebirth, dying and being reborn. And the number 13, the death card, corresponds with Scorpio. Scorpio energy. And again, that's in your 11th house, which is the great transformation of the people, friends, association, and groups. And again, in your 5th house is Aries, is Leo energy. Leo rules the 5th house, but it's Aries. So this is fun, children, creativity, freedom, childbearing. But again, because you have Aries there, I have to warn. Because like I said, people just have to be careful with children, especially nowadays. Because it's not decades ago when you knocked a kid upside the head or something. Now you try to find different ways to raise your kids up correctly. Because Aries in the 5th house could mean that. It doesn't have to mean that, but it could mean that. Like Mars in the 4th house, Aries in the 5th house, that could be like an abusive situation. And a lot of people, they do stuff to kids, they don't even think it's abuse, but it really is. So you just got to be mindful of it. Your 6th house is ruled by Virgo. It's an earthy house because Taurus is there. The 6th house is all about health, service, home, small children, small animals, co-workers, and subordinates. And ironically, at 22 degrees, which is the number of God's people, 22. I mean the real people, the melanated people. It's also your 1111 or 4, which is the angelic number. And Taurus can be sensuality. It could represent your 2nd house. It rules your 2nd house. So this could be some type of home business. But whatever it is, it's healing. It's healing for you because of the 22. And they let you know 22 is a master number. 11, 22, 33 are master numbers. And also, like even with Barack Obama, he was the 44th president. So that's also a master. A lot of people don't tell you that 44 is also a master number. In fact, it's like the highest you can go. But what they have to understand, like with Barack Obama, 44, but he always showed you 22 times 2, which is 44, because he always showed you the divine masculine, Barack Obama, and the divine feminine, Michelle Obama. And that's why when he took the oath, she was standing right there with him, holding the Bible. So she took the oath with him. They were showing you the same stuff I'm teaching you right now. And then he ended it. And that was the end. Now Trump has come to end it totally. Like if you understand all this shit, and it's all on you. They even got the cards. It's on your tarot cards, but they also got a different card deck. It's showing you all this shit. See, what Barack Obama showed you was the end of slavery for the melanated people under white supremacy. And we're about to do what's called a reset. And that's why when you study your Bible, everything ends with that trumpet. And that's his job. That's why since he's been in that White House, all he's doing is dividing. And all he's trying to do is push everybody into war. Because his job is to totally end it. Like I keep trying to tell you, it's about to be a fire, but that fire is going to take us into a different dimension. I mean, none of this shit is difficult. It's only difficult because people don't want to wake up. It's like when you're in love with a guy that's a piece of shit, and you can see him and know it, but you don't want to let it go anyway. But unfortunately, the universe is shaking you and telling you gotta wake up, because you got no choice. Because if you don't wake up, you're gonna go down with the ship. See, they're basically telling you that the number 22 would be like a reset. Because number 21 is the final card in the major arcana. It also can imply that you master the situation. So it's great healing. So Taurus energy might help heal you. Because that's the home, that's the healing. And remember that Taurus energy is the Pope. And like I said, it's the High Priestess. It's that male energy. When you go to your, believe that is now, we're at your 6th house. Well, let me see. Let me count this again. Okay, so that was your 5th house. Let's do this again. 4, spiritual. Right? Wait. Let's do it again. Because, see, whenever they do that, they put your ascendant and the EP in 2 different locations. It kind of throws you off. All right, so your Aquarius is in your 2nd house. Now, when you have Aquarius in your 2nd house, that's somebody that doesn't view money like most people. Like, they view money on how can we use this money to make the world a better place and stuff like that. They don't view money the same way as, say, somebody else would. So other than that, anything I said still stands. It's just that it's the 2nd house, not the 3rd house. Now, when you go to your 3rd house, this is all about communication. Like I said, creativity, short travel. Like, this could even be a Sunday school teacher. But again, like I said, because it does deal with small children and it has Mars there, it's still, you got to just be careful. And it's still going to tear down with the Mars. And it may be published, any form of publishing, but it's going to be spiritual. And even like 13 brings death out of love. But even like in this 3rd house, whenever you have Pisces and Venus, this is somebody that kind of loves in a fantasy world, or they love real unconditionally. So this would be the type of love that's given to a Gemini or a Pisces energy. And then again, your fourth house again has Aries, so it's basically the same thing as far as just be careful around children. And Aries can mean anything: teenage to adult education, land and property, ancestors, family, imum coeli, health, travel. Would still be somewhat forward moving or aggressive, but it might even be business because your first house is ruled by Aries and you have the business, the Capricorn there. Now, whenever you have Taurus in the fifth house, you just have to be careful because Taurus will overdo it. Like Taurus will spend money, like Taurus likes massages and stuff like that. Taurus is very sensual in the fifth house. But Taurus will like to gamble. Like if they go to the casino, Taurus will like to gamble, but he'll spend all his money. Like, he'll just keep gambling, even if, most people would stop, he'll keep going. So Taurus in the fifth house is not good for money, but it might be great for sex and stuff like that. Anything sensual, Taurus is down with in the fifth house. But for finances, it'll really lose its money. Now your sixth house is Gemini, so this is the service house. Small children, healing, the home, small animals, subordinates, and co-workers. So any form of communication will go to the home or a healing with Gemini in the sixth house. But then you just follow your Mercury, because they've already established that you would be some type of healer for like the people, the masses, the community. And then again, we already did your seventh house with the 6-9, and that 6-9 takes you right back to your third house with the inspiration. And if you notice, you got Venus in your third house too with 13, because the implication is you and this twin soul, this other energy, y'all might actually take each other through death and rebirth stages. And again, Aquarius will do that, and Gemini will do that too. But either way, it's just going to make y'all stronger in the long run. In your eighth house, and again, you'll have your free report, so you can study with everything that's in the eighth house, because it's very important to know your eighth house and your 12th house. But it's so much, especially that's in the eighth house. But you have the vertex at number 4. Now again, you see number 4, we already learned number 4 could be Aries energy. Number 4 could be hardworking. But I'm pretty sure on your chart where you see number 4, that's your twin soul. That's their energy. But you see Leo, which is the boss. But the vertex can be a soulmate, a twin soul, a significant meeting that's going to happen in your life, a significant breakup that's going to happen in your life, something that's fate, a fated event, or destiny. So that's what that vertex means. A twin soul is the person who has the same soul as you, but in a different body. A soulmate is anybody in your soul family, but it's usually somebody you have some type of closer connection to. Now, the ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius. And I already said everything that's in the ninth house. But as you see, you have Virgo there. And again, Virgo represents the home. It can represent like the spiritual woman or the Mother Mary. But it represents the sixth house. Because that's what Virgo rules over. And as you see in the sixth house is Gemini. Now, why is that way? Because again, Gemini rules the third house. And you have Pisces. And normally Pisces, which rules the 12th house, is opposite the 6th house. So it's still going to be about service. So they're really just trying to get the Gemini energy to grow up a little bit more so it can stabilize a home environment. In other words, the two are moving closer together to be a home and not into some form of separation, or when you see two people dating but they really don't want to make no external commitment. Because they might feel like, well, if we do that, everybody's going to think we're getting together, and I'm not ready for that, or we're not ready for that. But then they do it again. They take you into the 10th house of career, which is Capricorn energy, but they do it with number 6. But they've been doing number 6. They've been doing 2 and 4, which will go to 6 and stuff like that. But now it's Libra. So now it's like the 7th house, which is funny because the 7th house you have Cancer. And usually Cancer opposes Capricorn. But now they're almost making Cancer work with Capricorn. And then you got number 29, which again is a karmic assignment. But when you have Pluto retrograde means something has to be lost to move on. Because it's obviously whoever made this chart is trying to make these two become a couple. And I just got finished talking about number 44, and then there it is, it's 6 degrees and 44 minutes. So again, it's a karmic situation, karmic relationship at 29 degrees Pluto retrograde. But Pluto retrograde means something has to be lost in order for this to happen. So who knows what that'll be. And the only hint they give is Cancer. But then Cancer would take you back to the 4th house. And you see Aries there. Which takes you to the 1st house. You see Capricorn. So we don't know if they're saying a home business. We just know that Libra's in the 10th house, ruled by Capricorn. And that could be relationship, business partners, anything legal, law. But remember, your medium coelium C works with your true north node. And because that medium coeli is at 6 degrees, it looks like it's going to be some type of Pluto shakeup. To make what would normally be business become more like home centered. Like more family homed. business centered. Because depending on who you are, when you work from home, it may not be as intense as when you're working for somebody else. But that really depends on who you're dealing with. And again, that's at, well, we know the 29 degrees is definitely karmic. And that's usually definitely always a soul mate situation. And then that 29 degrees kind of leads you into the final house. Once again, but at 4 degrees. So that 4 degrees represents Aries energy, earthy energy, hard work energy. Kind of like I said, bringing it to the business. Because Saturn rules Capricorn. But as you see now, Saturn, which is still karma, like this is your karmic debt or your karmic assignment. But it's really educating the people with that knowledge that they call occultic or hidden, represented by a Scorpio. See, like I said, it's killing out that fake ass Pisces, because that's the age of deception. And you're really getting ready to go into the age of Aquarius. But it's digging deeper to uncover the occultic information or the hidden information. And then you're giving it to who? The 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius, but it's friends, association, and groups, or it's the community. So that's a large part of your chart, is really digging deeper, exposing the unknown, bringing it out for the masses, and your twin soul will be helping you do it. And I try to tell people again, your twin's higher self is always with you. And you see it through the synchronicities and strange stuff, and keep hearing their name or names and all that. All that stuff goes on and goes on and goes on. But it is possible that y'all might meet. But like I said, you have to learn. This is what I mean. Because see, back in the day, I didn't know any better. Like, I didn't know no better before. And sometimes I'm still like I said, another creepy situation. So I'm in a doctor's office. I gotta be there. All kind of crazy stuff's going on. And I'm waiting. And I had to just walk in because I didn't even know I was gonna have to go there. But I let everybody know. Well, But there was a lot of walk-ins though, so I don't feel that bad. But I made sure I let everybody know I'm gonna walk in, so I'll go last. And I was in there forever. And so it was a female sitting kind of close to me. But it was this strange dude that just kept coming in and going out and coming in and going out and walking back and forth and all that stuff. So I've been doing this a long time, so I could tell you. Like, I could tell you if I go somewhere, I guarantee I'm going to have a problem with that person. Because I've seen it too many times. So one of his times to come walking in the building, when he walks in the building, for some reason, she steps up. She gets out of her seat. She just stands up. Now, here's the situation. As soon as she stood up, he just goes and sits down. And it was other seats open. Now, he didn't know if she wasn't going to sit back down. Maybe she just stood up for a second. So I just didn't like this dude. At all. Because now he's sitting in her, he's just trying to edge in closer to me. No, but I see this crap all the time. Like, y'all just don't know. Like, even a Taurus. If you're a Taurus, people are universally attracted to you. Whether you know that or not. And that's why I said, why it's tough what I do. Because I tell people the truth, and they're just so trained to be stuck on stupid. and they get mad at me for being honest. Now let me just prove my point, because now I'm going to say it. Now I'm going to say a name, and then if I say the name, people are going to still be mad at me because I'm going to say the name. They're not going to listen. But then when the smoke starts, you're going to be mad that you didn't listen. Now, there's a certain person that influenced the whole part of the world, and he's a Taurus. And the reason why he was able to do that, because I'm trying to tell you, universally speaking, people who are Tauruses are magnetically attracted to them. In other words, if they come in a room, if everybody say, hey, listen, we're gonna go right. Are we in agreement? Yeah, we're all in agreement. Let's go right. But if the Taurus comes in a room, if the Taurus says a few things and says, well, I don't know, I think I'm gonna go left. Most of those people are gonna change to left because of the Taurus. Now, here's my proof. One man changed Europe and destroyed everything. He was like the face. And that was the dictator. He was a Taurus. So that just proves my point. But when people don't, people still won't listen to facts, or then they get turned off because it said a dictator. Like, they don't think, they don't listen. Recently, it was a rapper that just got sent to jail. Destroyed his whole criminal organization that he was a part of. You might look on his chart and see what if there's any significant second house or Taurus stuff on his chart. Because everybody hailed him like he was somebody special. And he was short too. He was like the rap version of the dictator from the 1940s. So you got to do what you got to do despite people not agreeing or not believing and stuff like that. Because ultimately, the majority of stuff I said will come to fruition. And some of these people are going to be very unhappy when I said when we start to go into fifth dimension and they start going into wherever non-fifth dimensional people will be going. From what I'm told, it's fire. It's destruction. And RFG Chosen One tells you that. Talking about being burnt up by the sun and stuff like that. And I've been trying to tell these guys, but they still are not listening. So my job is to make sure I do the best I can to wake everybody up so I don't have to feel guilty when these things happen. I know I did my utmost to tell everybody the truth. All right. I don't know. Okay. All of a sudden stuff starts falling. And it's starting to piss me off. Excuse me, y'all. Give me one more moment. It says revile. Oh, okay. What was this? All right. Now, so now we got into your 11th house again. Now, what I'm going to try to tell you is, because we keep telling you the four, see how you got 4 degrees Palace. I told you that's your soulmate. I also told you Aries. See, don't be shocked if you get your twin flames natal chart and he has a high Aries place, a presence on his natal chart. So let me just go around just to show you. And remember, spiritually speaking, you're like the high priestess, and he's the high priest. So you see him right at your chart, 4 degrees, palace, right? Then anything with a 2 and 4 is you and him. Him being 4, that Aries energy, the leader, and you being a 2, the high priestess. But ultimately, it's still a high priest and a high priestess. All right? And that's why you keep going around in your chart and you keep seeing him. And one thing about him is Vesta likes him. And that's a plus. At least it looks like she does. And that's why when you see Aries, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because even Aries in the 5th house, he might just be very athletic, very sport going. He might be a very extremely fun guy. Now, when you get to your 8th house, they go Lion. See, he's got that 5th house Lion and Aries, and because I think that's him too, because they go 4 again. And I'm telling you, for the most part, that 4 energy is him. Aries, it could be you two sharing it, but it's him. Then when you get to your highest point, allegedly, is your medium Coeli. And then you got 44. And that 44 might be, which is a master number, that might be him and you. Because really, like I just told you, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama is 22 times 2, 44. And they both took the oath because they both had their hand on the Bible. I think both times. I forget. Because you best believe these people know everything I'm talking about. They know all the secret knowledge. And then, anywhere you see 29 on your chart is you and him, but it's karmic. Now look where your other 29 is, and you see 44 again. So this ain't no coincidence. Where your good fortune is, where your part of fortune is, you see 29 degrees, you see 44 again. And so finally you get to your 11th house, and you see 4 again. But that's telling you that he's going to be like Saturn can be like the leader, the employer, the administrator, because y'all are going to be helping people. And he's going to kind of take a lead in that. But you and him both have skills, like really, really well. You can use your brain very well. You're very well with thinking and organizing and coming up with procedures. And that's what y'all see in the 11th house. And your 11th house is a lot like your 8th house. That's why I told you when we saw number 8, and I told you that could be either 8, because some card decks say 8 is the strength card, 11 is the justice card. But some card decks say 8th is the justice card, and 11th is the strength card. So you kind of got that going on with your 8th house, 11th house. You kind of like say it's interchanging. And again, so what I was going to finish with, she may know who this person is, she may not. And again, like sometimes your twin is working with you, but it's just not in their higher self, or their spirit is working with you. But that doesn't mean they won't show up. But what I be trying to tell people is this is why you got to stop all that silliness. Because you might be a female and there might be some dude that you think he's a nerd. I wish that nerd stopped looking at me. Or you just ain't attracted at first. But you don't realize that could be your twin. So that's why I be trying to tell you, gotta learn how to slow shit down. And as long as the person ain't crazy, like just some things you gotta know. But nowadays you just gotta because your twin flame may not look anything like you think he's supposed to look, or he might look exactly like it, or it might look better or worse. I mean, I don't know. But once you grow up a little bit, you may say, well, listen, let me just find out before I make any type of judgment. Let me just find out. Because like I said, what happened with my situation, my soulmate was just playing games, kind of like playing, just playing games. Like if you try to talk to her, she act like, oh, she in a rush, she don't want to listen. And then when you stop talking to her, then she come follow you. And that's what my twin flame used to do, the same really silly stuff. And then a soulmate was trying to do. And like I told y'all, I'm like a number 3. I really ain't with all that silly shit. Either we talking or we not talking. It ain't that serious to me. And then a lot of females, they want to see more concern. And I'm just not like, I just been in too many bad relationships, so I'm just not like that no more. Like I might care, but I just don't care because I just don't believe it. And even if I did, I'm kind of comfortable, I'm kind of comfortable with what I'm doing, so I'm not really trying to, I'm awesome by myself and shit. I don't really need to bring that second person in, especially if it's going to be a whole lot of drama and shit. So, it is what it is. But believe it, just what I learned, just do what you're supposed to do. Like, for me, I just do my part. I let the universe work all that other stuff out. But that's just me. Some people be like, oh, I got to be with somebody. I need somebody. I can't be alone. Well, then you gotta do what you got to do. But I'm just more where I just believe the universe knows what it's doing. And ultimately, if it's meant to be, who could stop it? I really believe that. And that's the funny thing about this universe, is that you can do all this reading and all this studying, and let's just say you do all this and you study and you feel you pretty much know who your twin is, and all you're doing is waiting for them to wake up or whatever. But then out of blue, somebody else might show up and totally change everything you just said. So that's the world we live in. It's very volatile. But that's that Uranus energy and stuff like that. Anything could come out of nowhere. So that's what one thing it taught me. I learned a lot. I have a good understanding of all this. But I've just learned to keep an open mind. Because what you think might be true, you might find out that it's not. And you might be blocking your happiness for reasons like that. So keep an open mind. Don't sit there and play hard to get. If you really believe everything I just said, try not to play hard to get. Try to learn how to respect people's space. And just make sure you're growing with your natal chart. Make sure you're growing in the universe. And who knows? It may just happen when you least expect it. So, you can always contact me for the services offered and price list. Again, I do more than natal charts. I do anything that's predictive, anything that's supernatural, anything that's paranormal. We also do research out here. We do the Archangel cards as well. We do phone consultation. So it's a lot that we do. So you can always contact us. Information in the description box. You can also request the most recent services offered and price list. God bless.